the previous generation of people, I would say absolutely they never gave any importance to emotions.
10 seconds of stupidity. That is the easiest method to feel happy. I can challenge you. Do it. You feel happy. Welcome, folks, to the Commander's Campus. I'm Commander Girish Konkar, an ex-submariner turned leadership catalyst. I'm here to help you navigate the storms of leadership and build a legacy that lasts. Let's dive in to the depths of leadership.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Commander's Compass. This is a podcast where we explore the theme of leadership, mindset, and human behavioral change. Today, we have with us our favorite Commander Girish Konkar. Sir, welcome back.
Hi. Hello.
Sir is the reason we have the Commander in Commander's Compass. So, thank you for being here, sir, today.
My pleasure.
And we have another very special guest with us today. We have Dr. Aashiesh Tavkarr, who is an occupational psychotherapist, holistic leadership coach, and one of India's foremost voices in the applied mind sciences in leadership. He is also responsible for a lot of organizational transformation with over 2 decades of experience across psychotherapy, hypnosis, NLP, leadership coaching, and entrepreneurship development. Dr. Aashiesh has worked with CEOs, founders, and global organizations to help leaders think clearly, lead consciously, and perform sustainably. This is going to be a very interesting episode where we are going to dive deep into the psychology behind leadership. So, we are very honored to welcome you here, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Sir, you've started off your career with psychology at the foundation of it, and later on, you've built a very strong relationship with leaders.
Correct.
So now you've seen the world not only from the perspective of lay persons, but also from leaders who are, doing big things in life. So at this interesting intersection, we have a very normal thought process where we say that leaders don't make bad decisions, but actually in real life a lot of intelligent people make bad decisions. Why do you think that happens?
So from my perspective, it is that leaders or leadership, okay, though it seems to be a very intellectual process and a very skill development process, actually, if you look at it deep down, it is actually an emotional process. Okay, leaders have to be more emotional, what we call as emotionally intelligent people. They need to have more emotions based decision making rather than just skill based decision making. This is one of the reasons, one of the qualities which specifically I found Indian leaders lacking. They feel that if they lead with compassion, if they lead with empathy, then they are considered as soft leaders. But if you actually look at all the great leaders that we've had, whether it be the political space, let it be the corporate space, or any other space that it may be, all these people that you look at as role models today, they've all led with emotions, they've all led with compassion. They are very, very highly intellectual people. But many a times, leadership, when you look at it, you have to face challenges, you have to face tough decision making. At that point of time, your inner self, your inner programming, your inner work actually starts working. So you then start depending upon your emotions to drive you in those areas that are there. So normally I suggest this for all leaders to be more emotionally competent in terms of how they lead their organization or their groups or people. Okay, those days are gone when actually leaders lead by pushing their views onto others. As leadership is evolving, as new generations of leaders are coming up, we are seeing a very different brand of leadership that is coming up from the young generations, specifically working with startup founders, especially working with the Gen Zs that are getting into leadership positions today within their own organizations. They are leading with compassion. They are looking at life from a very different perspective. So what worked in the 20th century or worked in the early parts of the 21st century, as far as leadership things are concerned, they are not going to be there as far as the future of leadership is concerned over here.
So this, you mentioned Nathan, that you have Gen Z leaders, you have older leaders,
Correct.
different generations are going to be there in
Correct.
the same organization. People keep changing. So how do they learn to gel together? Because the emotional intelligence of the older generation and the Gen Z or the millennials or now the alpha which is coming up, they'll have different levels of emotional intelligence.
Correct.
Any thoughts on that?
So to begin with, the previous generation of people were, I would say, absolutely, they never gave any importance to emotions.
Okay.
But it is only since emotional intelligence came into existence in the late 70s by Daniel Goleman, and the whole revolution of emotional intelligence started in the corporate world. People have started understanding the importance of human behavior. People have started understanding the importance of emotions in leading people. Now, coming to your question, how it works out. So, to be very honest, it's very, very, very difficult. Okay. Today's kids are very different. The young brigade that is taking over their father's businesses is very, very different. Just last week, I was hearing a podcast. Is that this generation, okay, or people who are in their 60s and 70s today, is the last generation of baby boomers that was born after the World War, Second World War. So this generation or this kind of people is now going to get replaced by another very different thought process that is coming into play. And the new generation or new leadership that is taking over is highly dependent on emotional intelligence or the behavior that they have. They are driven, but they are driven in different areas. Now, to answer your question about how to bridge the gap, honestly, it's very difficult. Okay, because traditional Indian family businesses, the karta as we call it, it is not easy for him to give up control.
Absolutely.
Okay, he doesn't give up control. And till their last breath, till their last day, they are actually getting involved in day-to-day administration or working in spite of children telling them to go and retire, enjoy a life kind of thing. But they can't. It is there in their DNA to be in present. But the new generation that is coming in is bringing in new ideas, new management thought process.
True.
And it is very difficult for the older generation to actually understand this.
Yes.
I'll give you a small example where I've actually played the role of a bridge between the father or grandfather generation and the third generation that is coming into business.
Correct.
So the grandfather set up the business. He was doing phenomenally well. It's a very well reputed organization. His son joined the business. He followed the father's step by making some changes as far as new management incremental changes as far as management style is concerned or things are concerned. But when the third generation joined in, okay, he started talking about going global. He started talking about taking the business global, investing in other countries, foreign direct investment. And the grandfather was absolutely against all this.
Correct.
But over a period of time when I was coaching the third generation youngster, I took on the responsibility of explaining to the grandfather.
Yeah.
Okay, it is high time now. Let them do the business the way they want to it. Okay.
True.
So when the grandparents and the parents now understand that yes, it is the next brigade, young brigade that is coming up, they are going to be the front runners in business, and they are coming up with they are actually understanding their leadership style is going to be very different. These kids have gone to Harvard, they've gone to Stanford, they've gone to Yale, they've gone to Cornell, they've gone to some of the biggest B schools, and they've understood the importance of the new way of doing business over here.
Correct.
So either you use an intermediary over there, or the third generation has to actually convince the grandparents and the parents that this is how now the new normal is going to be as far as business and leadership is concerned.
Absolutely.
So, any tips here on anybody who's in a family-run business and they are the third generation and they are talking to their grandparents ki ye karna hai, this is slightly different from what you do. What could be some easy, starting point for them or building blocks for them?
So first thing I would say is there has to be very crystal clear and open communication between the generations. Okay, and the parents and the grandparents or the founders who actually founded the business, they should give up the thought process of I know it all, I have seen it all, hum bole wo kaida. This is the way things are done in India. Okay, India is also evolving, the corporate culture in India is also evolving, the leadership styles are also evolving over here. So they should be open, their mindset should shift, and they should be open to at least listen to what the young generation is talking about. The best suggestion that I give this is to give a small pilot project to the younger brigades over there. Okay, this is some money, this is your idea, this is how you take it, you grow it, show it to me that it can be a success, then I will put in more money and I will build it up. So I encourage young brigades to start their own startups, okay, which will be funded eventually by the parent company.
Right.
But they would be doing things which they would like to be involved in, rather than just following what Dadaji says or what Daddy says or what the elders say in their family. So I encourage people to invest in their children's startups. Okay, it could be in an area which is nothing to do with the parents' businesses.
Right.
Okay, maybe you are in textile and he wants to get into travel and tourism. Okay, they have their passions, they have their ideas, they have their views. So open and honest communication is something that has to happen. Okay, that is the fundamental and that is the foundation that I would like to say.
Absolutely important. Ashish sir, on this podcast, we discuss a lot about mindset
Yeah.
because Girish sir here, he definitely believes that a change in mindset can change everything in life.
Absolutely.
So, but there are a lot of blocks when changing your mindset, and this is especially true in case of leaders who've then seen certain things. Okay, this is how something happens and it works. So, how can they overcome these mindset blocks and build a new way of thinking?
So what I normally suggest to people when we do what is called as mindset working,
Hmm.
we explain to them the fundamental principles from where the mindset has got created. Okay, so we go, especially when we do behavioral coaching with them, or we work on their emotional issues that are there. We make them understand that there is a pattern that has been followed your entire life.
True.
Okay, and this starts right from what we call as the womb.
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that is where the communication between the mother and the child starts happening, and the communication between the child and the environment starts happening. So to talk a technical language, your programming starts, your behavior starts right from the womb. And then when the child comes into the world, he has to deal with the external environment that is there. The external environment then starts giving the internal environment of the child. So what we call as the formidable years in psychology between the age group of 0 to 12.
Okay.
What kind of conditioning has happened? What kind of environment have you grown up in? That makes a very, very, very profound impact as far as how your future leadership styles or how your future is going to be in terms of that. So we look at parenting, we look at how your parents were, how your father behaved, how your mother behaved, how your grandparents behaved. Then today we look at the biggest impact that happens in schools. Okay, what kind of schooling did you have? What kind of friends you had? What kind of environment you grew up in? For example, were you bullied in school?
Correct.
You know, bullying is something which happens rampantly across the globe, not only in India, but as far as, so if you are being bullied continuously, or something that happens like your dabba is taken away or your homework book is taken away and you have been punished by the teacher for not doing your work over there. So that again formulates a foundation of your persona. Okay, and your persona starts creating between 0 to 12.
Okay.
That
Absolutely.
age of it. Parenting plays a very, very important role over here. Just to throw a little bit of technical statistics here, a child between the age group of 0 to 12 hears the word no, don't do this, don't do that 148,000 times in a span of 12 years.
Oh my God.
Now, this is where most people or most parents want to actually discipline their child.
Correct.
Okay, but the reverse impact happens is that they create limitations for their child.
So while the intention is good,
Exactly.
the way this executed,
The way it is
is
interpreted by the child is no, 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 I'm not supposed to do this. And on top of that, in the Indian parenting arena, as I call it, is like, I am telling you so, that is why you don't do it.
Right. No logic is
There is no
explained.
logic. It is like, I am telling you, you have to follow it.
Hmm.
So
Now,
always authority becomes
exactly. And then that
bow down to
becomes your
authority.
pattern.
Hmm.
Okay, you bow down to the teachers, you bow down, you can't question your parents, you can't question the teachers. Of course, the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas are now questioning the parenting styles also, but coming to that a little later. Now, what you need to understand is that this is where the first 12 to 15 years of the experience of life that you have
Hmm.
is what goes on to create who you are.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay,
Correct.
what kind of environment was it? So the environmental influence on you is also studied when we look at coaching, specifically leaders.
Hmm.
Okay, now how did you for example, how did you deal with the first failure in your life?
Hmm.
Okay, on the lighter side, I ask my clients over there, okay, when the first time you expressed your love in college to a girl and you were rejected,
Hmm.
how did you handle that rejection?
Oh.
Right.
Okay, what was the thought process that was there?
Hmm.
And if you've had multiple rejections, that then impacts your personality.
Hmm.
Okay, so from persona we move to personality.
Hmm.
And when this person grows up, okay, looking at the environment today influencers and media plays a very, very important role
Yes.
as far as upbringing of children is concerned, or creating your mindset that is there is concerned.
Hmm.
Now, when we look at mindset from these 360-degree perspective, we show them that this is the pattern that your life has followed till now.
Hmm.
And with this pattern, these are the kind of behaviors that you are going to exhibit as far as that is
And
concerned.
these patterns are practically repeated every day.
Every day.
Hmm.
From
Every
morning
day.
till evening, you'll
Exactly.
go undergo a pattern
Exactly.
completely.
So these are what I call your source course core programming,
Hmm.
okay, or source code,
Right.
as we talk about it.
Right.
Now, in the olden days, or I would say up to about 30 years ago, okay, I normally make this statement that today we know more about the brain and behavior in the last 30 years than we did in the last 300 years.
Hmm.
Okay, there is tremendous advancement that has happened in behavioral psychology, in understanding how psychology works on people. Okay, now you have grown up with a certain kind of mindset, with a certain kind of understanding.
True.
Okay, a normal example I give is, why are you a vegetarian?
Hmm.
Because my parents were a vegetarian,
Correct.
because their parents were a vegetarian. They didn't allow us to taste meat,
Hmm.
so we became vegetarians.
So your environment which was
The
there at
control,
home was created
exactly.
to be nothing wrong in that,
Nothing
but that's
wrong
the
in that,
environment.
but that is how you have groomed yourself.
Hmm.
Okay, and then the major fundamental mindset that happens in India specifically, and even in other parts of the world, is what I call your religious conditioning.
Correct.
Your religious conditioning and your behavioral conditioning then creates your major mindset
Hmm.
that you have. I would say up to 80-90% of your mindset gets created on these things.
Hmm.
True.
There are very few people who actually, when we use the term lifelong learners,
Right.
there are actually few people who are into lifelong learning.
Hmm.
Okay, very few of them get into actually upgrading their skills,
Hmm.
actually upgrading their mental skills.
Oh.
That means you literally have to overwrite your previous memories which you
Exactly.
have created in those 12
Exactly.
years and implant new memories.
Exactly.
at the-
So new behavioral patterns today neurosciences is something which helps you override
Hmm.
all these conditioning patterns that are there, that you have experienced.
Hmm.
All the experiences, we work with the memories, we work with the experiences, and we alter their experiences.
Okay.
So one thing which I always say when people ask me, okay, Dr. Saab, what do you do?
Hmm.
So my core work is altering perceptions
Hmm.
and comprehending possibilities.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so you have a perception about who you are,
Right.
and you stick to that identity.
Hmm.
That identity gets created by the fourth year of your life. That is
Oh.
where the identity gets created.
That early.
Who am I? Okay, you've been told by your parents that you are this, you are intelligent, you are smart, you are whatever the parenting style that has happened over there. So your identity, once it gets created, okay, it is very, very, very difficult for a person to change his identity. That is why in many cultures, in many languages, we say that once behavior gets done, okay, formulated, it doesn't change. Like in Marathi, we say, Swabhavala aushad nasta.
Correct.
But I am one of those people who goes around telling that Swabhavala aushad asta. Behavior can be altered, behavior can be changed.
Just that nobody taught us how to do it.
Nobody
Yeah.
taught you how to do it. Okay. Now, this mindset is what then you carry into your corporate world. Okay. And then the corporate has its own mindset. The corporate has its own culture. Okay. When I use the word culture, I actually mean mindset, because there are rules and regulations.
Yes.
Within that framework, you have to work.
Correct.
Okay. And fortunately, today, the Gen Zs that are there, they're challenging that framework on a day-to-day basis. The previous generations of corporate leaders actually followed what the board of directors people wanted, actually what the shareholders wanted. And they said, okay, this is what I will deliver. And they worked within that framework.
Correct.
Today's leadership, or the new style of leadership that is coming up, the various factions of leadership, whether you call it principal leadership or principal centered leadership, or you call it servant leadership, or whatever it is, that the title that you give it to it. Your core behavioral pattern, if it doesn't fit into that culture of the organization, you immediately leave the organization and go.
Correct.
When there's an alignment between your belief structures, your value systems, and what the organization is looking at, then you have people over there working for decades for you.
Correct.
Okay, and that is where even they understand the importance of undergoing the leadership trainings that are offered, or the various training programs that are done at the corporate level. Very few of the attendees actually imbibe and implement the learning.
Okay.
For other people, it is like khana acha tha, the workbook is given, it is lying somewhere in the drawer, and it is gathering dust.
It's like a tourist mentality.
Yes, they come with the, and most of them are on their phones over there in the training programs today. Unfortunately, that is how it is there. But there are 1 or 2% of those people who actually believe in that I am going here to learn something new, which will add value to me, which in turn I can add value to the organization. So you develop your own leadership style in this whole process that you are going into. Now, many a times I have seen good leaders were actually prefects or class monitors in their school.
Okay.
Okay, they have had a taste of leadership. They've either become a class monitor or a prefect or a house captain. Okay, these people from an early childhood, then they go on to become maybe a GS of a college, or they head a particular organization. They take part in event management.
Right.
You know, there is any event in the college that is there, they take on responsibilities.
Correct.
They do coordination work. And this is how step by step they have actually built on their own leadership style that is there, which gets cemented as far as the organizational culture then gets into it.
Okay.
So it's a long journey that we map when we look at these. And using modern techniques, modern sciences, as far as alteration of behavior is concerned, we then implant that behavioral pattern or that thought pattern in these people, where they go on to become then thought leaders or leaders of organizations today.
Okay.
A simple example I'll give is one of my clients who's a CEO of a company. He is struggling to get what is called as a DIE, diversity, integrity, and ethnicity, I think it is called,
Okay.
over there, to implement that in his organization, because he has grown up in a certain manner where disability is acceptable, but a transgender is not acceptable.
Oh.
Right.
Okay, so he's struggling to make changes in the HR policy where they say that okay, now because a certain percentage of transgenders have to come into business or come into leadership roles, their acceptance is very, very low in society. So he's internally struggling over there. I'll give you another example. One of the IT companies, which was an Israeli owned IT company, post COVID decided to lay off a lot of people.
Okay.
Now, the CEO of the organization was their number one employee. Right from the day one, he grew up with the organization. Okay. Now, the first batch of 14, 15 people that he grew up with, they became eventually his extended family.
Okay.
Acha.
Yeah.
And when the notice came from the parent company, okay, these 14 people need to go,
Oh.
he could not implement that decision. And he had a massive heart attack.
Oh.
So he had to be admitted into the hospital. So that emotional aspect that we were talking about some time back,
Churned him.
The
he
emotional
was
intelligence of handling
correct.
difficult situations.
How to tell my friends, my family members that you are getting laid off. So he had a massive stroke. He was admitted. He was given 3 months leave. In those 3 months, the Israelis came and they removed all these 14 people that were there from the organization. And then they gave him an option. Do you want to come back as a CEO or do you want to be replaced?
Acha. Okay.
So again, that whole leadership style, the way you're emotionally connected with your people, everything comes to play over there.
So this is very enlightening. Do you want to add on to any
No, I
of
think
the
he's covered practically everything
Yeah.
that is going to be good. Now, the next question I'm sure will be coming is how do we change the mindset?
Yeah.
If you're enjoying this conversation, do like, share, and subscribe.
So now that we've realized that so much of our life, our leadership depends on our mindset, how do we actually change this mindset?
What do you actually mean by changing mindset? Okay, everybody perceives that very differently. But when we look at it or when we talk to leaders in terms of changing their mindset about certain aspects of it, okay, we face resistance. Okay, and why is that resistance? The resistance is there because basically what you are asking them is to change a part of their identity.
They feel threatened.
They feel threatened. In the psychological terms, we say that your nervous system does not feel safe with the change that you are asking it to make. We all have the central nervous system, okay, that actually controls everything in our lives. Okay, so your central nervous system or your human nervous system, as we call it, that feels threatened or that is not ready to give up the entire identity that who you have been for so long. Okay, you've been telling yourself that I am A, I am B, I am C, I am D. Now that I have been asked to change some part of me, is actually the nervous system feeling unsafe.
Correct.
So before we thrust about a mindset shift in the leaders or potential leaders that are being groomed to take on leadership, you need to first address this issue. Okay, which emotion, which experience, which part of their life or which part of their identity are you asking them to change? Only and only when they are comfortable with that change will they make the mindset shift. Okay, otherwise changing a person's mindset is the most difficult thing to do on planet Earth.
Is that taking a horse to the water?
Correct.
Unless the horse wants to drink water,
He's not going
you
to
cannot
drink
make
it.
the horse
He's
drink
not
water.
going to drink it.
You must first want to change.
Exactly. Now, even if they know that the change that is going to happen is good for me, still they will resist the change because they feel unsafe inside. So many a times when we do leadership interventions with leaders, we try to understand which identity of theirs, internal identity of theirs, is feeling threatened. What emotions are coming up? Okay, so the most simple example, many a times when I'm asked this question or when I talk about this topic, I give the example of smoking. Okay, every packet of cigarette that you buy, there is a dirty picture of a lung. Pictorially, it is explained. Okay, this is what happens to your lung. Smoking causes cancer. Blah blah
Correct.
blah. Everything is there. Same is with any addiction. Let it be drugs, alcohol, or whatever it could be. Every individual knows that leaving that is good for him. but they get attached to it. Why? Because it has become a part of their identity, and they don't want to leave that part of their identity because they feel unsafe. Only and only when you realize that though it is good for me and I understand that this part of my identity needs to change for the better, will they accept that change that is there. That resistance suddenly drops. Okay, so when we do interventions with leaders, we make them realize that this identity of yours needs to change. And how are you feeling about that change? What kind of emotions are coming up with that change that is being expected out of you?
Typically, how long does this take? I mean, that person. So let's say a person says, okay, some change has to take place.
Correct.
People are telling him or her, "Bhai, badlo, badlo, ye badlo, badlo." Now, finally, he comes to you saying, okay, I need to change something, right?
Correct.
How long does it take for that acceptance to take? And
So my standard answer is it takes as long as the person wants to.
okay,
Okay, change can happen instantaneously. Okay, so belief changes basically when we talk about it. A belief can change within a matter of seconds
true,
when you are ready for it.
absolutely.
Okay, now how long you take for that is what your choice is all about.
True.
So it could take one coaching session, it could take 3 coaching sessions, it could take even 10 coaching sessions, till internally that person is now feeling okay.
Right.
Okay, I'm willing to let go this part of my identity and I'm willing to take on another aspect of identity that is there. Okay, many a times, again, I give very simple examples. You have an excellent sales guy, okay, but when you make him a manager, many a times he's a disaster.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we've seen it across all organizations over there, because the person is not willing to let go of his identity of a sales guy. Okay, a general manager, when he's promoted to a manager, or a manager or a vice president is promoted to be a CEO of a company, okay, they need to undergo a lot of personal change.
True.
Okay, and willingness to change is one part of it, but actually letting go a part of your identity is a very, very, very difficult, because you've held on to that identity for your entire life. Okay, I'll give you another example. I had a CEO of a company which was into construction. Okay. And he left the job from the organization, and he started his own company in construction.
Okay.
Now, 6 months down the line, he realized that he's not cut out for business.
Correct.
Okay, and when we did a lot of intervention or whatever we did, discussions with him, he was not ready to give up his employee mindset and get into what is called as an employer mindset.
Right.
Okay, many startup founders today are struggling in the same way. They are not ready to give up their employee mindset and get into an employer mindset that is there. So many a times, with due respect to all technology guys, technology founders, I normally say this: you're damn good CTOs, but you are a lousy CEOs.
Correct.
Okay, they are not willing to give up that identity of a coder, identity of a developer, identity of a technology person. You got to make that transition from a technology person to a managerial person, which demands a lot of internal changes.
Absolutely.
And that is where the resistance is there. But as quickly as you understand that this is what you have chosen now to do it, and you need to change, then the change is very much possible for them. Otherwise, like I said at the beginning, it will take as long as you want it to take.
This just reminds me of one of the few things Girish sir had said in our initial episodes as well, that when we were discussing his life in Navy and then post Navy, that being the commander was his identity.
Correct.
And from there he had to transition into the civilian life, where he had to introduce himself for the first time.
Correct.
And that is one of the things that he spoke about.
Yes.
Yeah, so I like that very fact that normally when you meet in a gathering, you first give your visiting card.
Correct.
I've never done that in my life.
Yes. In fact, just to add on to that, many people, many leaders, okay, their organization becomes their identity.
Absolutely.
I am a Tata employee. I am a Tata leader. I am a Kirloskar leader.
Yes.
I am an Infosys guy. Okay. or I am a armed forces veteran.
Yes.
This
That
is
becomes an
that
identity.
becomes your identity.
And sometimes it's good also, but at many times that becomes your stumbling block.
Correct.
You can't grow out of it.
You can't grow out of it, because that is why many veterans, even I have dealt with a couple of people post their army life or armed forces life, they suffer from depression or they go into PTSD
Right.
and these kind of things, because they are not able to
Those
make the transition
Absolutely.
that is there. And unfortunately, a lot of today's leadership, okay, is not ready with that transition. They've not made that transition internally over there. That is why they struggle a lot. And typically, talking about startups and all, they understand that there are certain areas where they don't have their competence. Okay, for example, you're a technology guy, you have a damn good idea, but you don't know sales and marketing, you don't know finance, so you bring on co-founders. Okay, now unfortunately, all of them don't come onto the same page.
Correct. Then
And
again, you
that
have
is
trouble
where
then.
again where there is a lot of issues in leadership. Okay, so who will lead? Okay, the manager, the management guy will lead, who comes with a maybe 10-15 years of marketing and sales background, or the founder will lead. So many a times the founder has to understand that up to a certain point I can be a founder. After that, I need to play a role of a CEO. If you are not willing to play the role of a CEO, please hire a CEO.
True.
Get in a professional. But again, in the Indian context, okay, people want to hold on to, nahi, mera idea hai. This is what I have created. This
And
is
you
my
feel
baby.
threatened. You feel threatened
You feel
if you are going to
threatened.
give away to
Correct.
somebody else.
Correct.
You feel
So
मेरे
that-
image क्या रह जाएगी?
Yeah, that threatened is who's getting threatened. The identity is
Identity.
getting threatened. Okay, so only when we make changes in the identity do real metamorphosis happen, real transformation happens. That is there. That is why we go to the core. That is why we study your value systems. That is why we study your belief systems. That is why we study your entire childhood and the patterns that you've, so we can break those patterns.
You have a very interesting workshop called Rediscovering Happiness,
Correct.
and it's aimed at business leaders.
Correct.
Do you, first of all, what is this workshop? And secondly, how is happiness linked to business?
So when I created this workshop many years ago, okay, and I presented it to leaders in terms of that. Now, a little bit of background into that. Ki everybody at the end of the day is looking for happiness. Okay, everybody wants happiness. Everybody wants freedom, happiness, love, peace. These are all things that they are looking for in life. Especially for corporate leaders, it's a very thin tightrope walk that they're doing between personal life and business life. Okay, and unfortunately, in our Indian context, corporate life is very, very, very hectic. Okay, you are expected to work a lot in your day-to-day activities. Okay, like we have some corporate leaders who've been insisting on 70 hours a week, and some people saying 60 hours a week and all that.
90 hours.
90 hours a week, yes. Whereas the official government of India says that not more than 48 hours a week. Okay, that is your the limit that you can work per week. That is there. The balance time that is there is where you are supposed to spend on yourself, spend on family. Okay, so I have something, or which we every coach uses this, something called as the wheel of life. Okay, normally coaches look at 7-8 areas of life that are there. I have designed or redesigned mine where I look at 24 areas of your life. Okay, and each one it's very thin sliced into 24 areas that is there. Now, happiness is something which is very, very, very internal. Okay, but for that you need to have an external environment most of the time. Okay, only few people are happy internally, not depending on external environment.
Okay.
So I don't need to go to Switzerland to be happy. I don't need to go to Rishikesh to be happy. I don't need to go to a resort to be happy. I can be happy where I am. Okay, so everybody is looking for happiness. Okay, that's the basic premise that is there. Now, in psychology, and many people must have also said this, and you've heard it many a times, happiness is a state of mind.
Yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
I just put a comma and I said, so is unhappiness.
True.
Unhappiness is also a state
State
of
of
mind.
mind.
Yeah, it's a complete state of mind that
Hmm.
that is there.
Hmm.
So I normally give the example that you could be sitting in a BMW
Hmm.
and you could be having a miserable life.
Hmm.
Okay, or you could be one of those street urchins sitting at a signal and wiping people's cars and windshields and all, and just laugh and be happy over there. That is there.
True.
Hmm.
So unhappiness is also a state of mind.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, a lot of things have happened in your life which have led to unhappiness.
Hmm.
Okay? So using therapy and using psychotherapy as an intervention that is there,
Hmm.
I try to remove all that is unhappy in your life in
Okay.
a given span of period.
Hmm.
Okay, whatever it could have been.
Hmm.
Okay, whatever trauma you've experienced, whatever you have classified
Hmm.
as unhappiness
Hmm.
is what we try and remove from your life using psychotherapy as an intervention.
Okay.
So rediscovering happiness
Hmm.
is going back to that state of joy.
Hmm.
Okay, what
As a
we call
child.
as a child,
Hmm.
or what the scriptures call as the Satchidanand state.
Right.
Okay,
Hmm.
where you are now internally at a happiness.
Hmm.
So nothing around you
Hmm.
or in the past will make you unhappy, or you carry forward that unhappiness.
Hmm.
Correct.
That is why you rediscover happiness in this process.
Hmm.
That is there. Now, a happy person internally,
Hmm.
imagine him going to work.
Hmm.
Okay, imagine him leading an organization.
Hmm.
Imagining him doing everything out of joy.
Hmm.
Okay, there is delight on his face. Okay, let it be a sales guy who delights a customer or a leader who delights his employees.
Hmm.
Okay, so you need to be in that state of happiness, that state of joy.
Hmm.
Okay, so that you can then trickle it down into the entire organization that is there.
Hmm.
So, like we normally say, it is lonely at the top.
Yes.
Okay, every CEO, every leader
Hmm.
has told me in one-to-one conversations
Hmm.
that is extremely lonely at the top.
Hmm.
But not carrying that loneliness, but
Hmm.
carrying that happiness
Hmm.
and trickling it down to your entire organization, making it a part of your HR policy, not just Happy Fridays
Hmm.
as it is called today.
Hmm.
You should be happy every day.
Every day. And people should be happy.
Hmm.
So why is Google voted year after year after year after year
Hmm.
as the best place to work?
Right.
Is because people are happy over there.
Hmm.
Okay, it's not just the salary that is there,
Hmm.
or the canteen that is there, or the free pizzas that and coke that you get over there.
Hmm.
It is a general joy that is experienced in that entire organization.
Hmm.
So as a leader, taking away all your unhappiness,
Hmm.
all the trauma,
True.
all those things that have bothered you,
Hmm.
as maybe as a child, as a teenager, as you are growing up, maybe your family is broken, or you came from a broken family.
Hmm.
All those things which have impacted your psyche,
Hmm.
which have impacted your being, as we call it,
Right.
we remove all those things in
So
this
it is like
process.
defragmenting the brain.
Correct.
Hmm.
Completely rewiring it,
Rewiring
defragmenting
it,
it, putting
defragmenting.
everything back into
Absolutely.
the original state that
Very
would be
beautifully
there,
said. Very
and
beautifully said.
you're set to go.
Yes. Yeah. So happy leaders, happy organization is
Hmm.
what the whole principle is based on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Ashish sir and Girish sir, there's a question I want to ask both of you. You just spoke about how in Indian corporate culture we are supposed to work in a very hectic way,
Correct.
and leaders face a lot of burnout.
Correct.
So, how should they deal with burnout and build true mental resilience?
I have a very different take on what is burnout. The word corporate burnout came into our lingo a couple of years ago, and today it is something which has become a part and parcel of today's corporate world. Now, what is a burnout? There are different people who have different definitions. One definition which I used to use a couple of years ago was that you are burning the candle from both ends. Okay, and that is where you are getting burnout. But today, when we look at the kind of burnouts that corporate leaders have, my take on it, and this is my personal opinion, and burnouts happen because leaders are not processing their emotional state. Leaders are carrying their emotional state over a period of time. Okay, simple example is stress. Okay, you are carrying stress for a long period of time. Okay, and then that stress causes what is called as burnout. Today, psychologically speaking, today when we look at corporate leaders and especially the ones that are on the verge of burnout, these people have what we call as unprocessed emotions. It could be any emotion. Okay, it could be any emotion that is there. Unfortunately, like I said some time back, the education system does not teach you to deal with your emotions. We have always been told to suppress our emotions, specifically in our culture, in the Indian context that we are talking about it. So, right from childhood, the child has never been allowed to share what they are feeling. It is always what you are thinking. Okay. So today, when I ask leaders or when I ask them, ki, right now tell me what is your feeling, they are unable to do it because they don't know how to do it. Okay. So teaching them how to access their feelings is the first step that I normally take in terms of my coaching agreement with them. Okay, understand your feelings. Okay, so if you go to Google, there is a whole circle with all the kinds of feelings that human beings can experience: joy, sadness, happiness, jealousy, hatred, anger, whatever it could be. There are certain what we call as core feelings, and then there are others which are around them, which are there. So people then carry labels also of their emotions that are there. So I'm an angry person or I'm a short-tempered person. But are you really angry? Okay. Or you just irritated? Now, the difference between being irritated and being angry is huge. Anger is the last stage.
Right.
Okay. But it begins with feeling of irritation.
Yeah, unease.
Okay. Unease. But processing that unease is not taught to anybody. Okay. Now, when you carry a lot of unprocessed emotions and then you become a leader, then that starts creating pressure on you. Okay. And you are not able to take that stress, you are not able to take that pressure that is there because of a lot of unprocessed emotions.
True.
Okay. Now, when we make them process these emotions, could be childhood, could be whatever it is, unsaid communications are there, anger is there, jealousy is there, whatever it is that you are carrying, okay, that needs to be processed correctly. And you need to teach the leader, okay, if this is emotion that is coming up for you, how do you process it? Okay, so in simple terms, it is like your dustbin in your house is full, and you are still trying to put in kachara into it, more and more into it. But it is going to spill over and it is going to create a lot of problems. Okay, what you need to do is you need to clear your dustbin on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Okay, so clearing those unprocessed emotions by processing them is the key to not getting burned out. Okay, and people, once they understand this, they go through certain processes, they process their emotions. Okay, then the feeling of stress goes away, anger goes away, hatred goes away, jealousy goes away, whatever it is, that goes away. And then they are able to deal with that leadership role that they are playing or what they are supposed to play over there.
Okay.
And today, if you really go through these processes or what we call process work in the world of psychology, you do process work on yourself, get rid of that, I guarantee you, you will not feel burnout at all.
Sir, your thoughts
So
as well.
my perspective, taking off from where Dr. Aashiesh has just mentioned, I'll try and put it for myself. We are hormonal beings, emotional beings, and emotions, according to me, are caused by our thoughts.
Correct.
If you control your thoughts, everything comes into, you've sorted out. When you're unable to control your thoughts, if your thoughts go in only a particular manner with a negative emotion, that leads to burnout. That means your burnout basically means your body chemistry is gone for a 6. That's the whole thing. How do you get the chemistry back into the process work that you do? I mean, the things, simple things like being happy. I call it, mine is the most simplest. 10 seconds of stupidity. That is the easiest method to feel happy. I can challenge you. Karo, just do it.
Yeah.
Do it. You'll feel happy.
Correct.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
It's a challenge to all the viewers. Okay,
Your
just do
physiology
it.
changes.
Your entire just your mindset is completely shift. So if you're good and you need to work hard, no doubts about it. You need to work from maybe morning 6 o'clock till night 12 o'clock. If your purpose of life is of that caliber, you will work that much. And do this every once in a while. Yeah, go to the toilet and do all this stuff. Don't make noises. Then people will
wonder what's happening
wonder what's
inside.
happening. But you will find your mindset gets reset like this. Your body gets reset. Your hormonal balances take place. You will now avoid burnout to a large extent. Is the simplest method. There are so many other methods are there. Meditation is one.
Yes.
Very powerful. If you meditate, you bring your thoughts into the present moment so that you don't, not in the past, not in the future. There is no stress because the stress hormones don't get released. The stress hormones are controlled.
Correct.
Your burnout comes into your, you will not get burnt out. I mean, so meditation you do morning and evening. 20 minutes karo yaar. You don't need to do more than that. Even 10 minutes if you do.
10 minutes also good enough.
Also is good enough.
Yes.
10 minutes morning, 10 minutes evening, you will find you have a very peaceful, wonderful life. And you can take on all the challenges of life that keep coming. So, if you're enjoying this conversation, do like, comment, share, and subscribe for more such fantastic episodes.
Sir, you've worked with global experts in the field of mind sciences and you've also worked with leaders. So, if you could just for our viewers give us one daily mental discipline that leaders follow to become really successful.
Great. So one of the things that I normally recommend to all my clients, all my coaches that I work with, is taking after every 45 minutes, taking a 5-minute break and centering yourself. Okay, understanding what the feelings you are feeling. Okay, and in those 5 minutes, you process those feelings. Okay? So today we really don't push ourselves beyond 45 minutes. Okay, after that the brain starts slowing
Correct.
down and decision making takes a toll and all those things start happening over there. So after every 45 minutes, okay, take a break. Okay, center yourself. Okay, take in 3 deep breaths. Bring your focus internally completely. Okay, and when you bring your focus internally completely, okay, then you center yourself. So I use the term being eye-centric. Okay. So that's a term which I have coined many years ago. Is you become eye-centric. You go internally, focus yourself. Okay. Now, if you do this every 45 minutes, then your day will go in a very, very beautiful manner. Then your leadership will be very, very, very decisive. You will be in control. You will be in control of your emotions. What emotion happened at 9 o'clock in the morning? Okay. So the simplest example I give is like, let's say you're in Bangalore city and you're driving and somebody cuts you.
Okay.
So what's your state of mind that time? Okay, you are agitated, you are angry at that point of time, and knowingly or unknowingly, okay, a lot of people, human beings, they take out their anger on their steering wheel. Okay, either you bang the steering wheel or you hit it, or you get out and you kick your tires. So that's how you abuse the car. This is again many a times happened. Now that 9 o'clock morning incident, you carry it till 1:30 internally. That feeling, that emotion that is there. But imagine that happened at 9 o'clock in the morning. You've reached your office at 9:30. Before stepping into your cabin, just center yourself and let go of all that emotion that you felt at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then you enter a meeting. Then you enter your room. Then you begin your day by meeting people or whatever it is. You are now in a different state of mind.
So does self-talk or affirmation at that time help?
It does help. But what I insist on at that point of time, or what I teach them, is letting go of that feeling. Okay. So you literally remove it from your mind. You literally remove it from your body. And then you can then affirm that, okay, I am calm, composed. I am ready to take on all challenges of the day, whatever affirmations you have written for yourself at that point of time. And then you step into the organization. You will be in a completely different state of mind. So
Okay.
every 45 minutes, kind of let go
Hmm.
of all the previous emotions that you have experienced during the interaction
Hmm.
over there. If every leader can follow this, I am 100% sure that their day, their leadership style, their decision making,
Hmm.
they'll be much more calmer, much more composed,
Hmm.
much more emotionally stable
True.
in dealing with organizational
Absolutely.
issues and challenges that they're supposed to face on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, before we let you go, one last question that we have is, as you spoke about the Gen Z now coming into the workforce, taking
Correct.
in leadership roles, what is the one quality these future leaders need to develop today?
Okay. So one quality which I feel is lacking among these people is that their ability to express themselves
Hmm.
and to communicate properly.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So if they work on their communication,
Hmm.
especially the ability to transmit their idea
Hmm.
to other people and making other people realize how important that idea is for them or how passionate they are about that idea.
Hmm.
When other people get it, then they will be able to move forward in that.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So one aspect of it is in terms of the competence of communicating clearly
Hmm.
with clarity
Hmm.
to people.
Hmm.
Second aspect I'm talking about is decision making skills.
Hmm.
Okay. A lot of Gen Zs have been spoon fed as far as decisions are taken.
True.
Okay. So taking their own decisions,
Hmm.
and the parents or the organization also giving them the freedom to take the decision.
Hmm.
And if the decision goes wrong, it's okay.
Oh.
Okay, you don't need to punish them for a wrong decision. You don't need to point it out to
Hmm.
them, कि, oh, so and so decision you have taken, it was wrong,
Hmm.
and today we are still facing. No,
Hmm.
done,
Hmm.
gone. That's what the other people need to understand within the leadership structure that is there in the organization.
Hmm.
So don't be afraid to take decisions.
Hmm.
Bhale they are wrong decisions. Okay, but I firmly believe that whenever a decision is taken, is always the right decision at the time it is being taken.
Hmm.
Okay, it is right or wrong, it is only in hindsight that you can evaluate it.
Right.
But you are taking the decision, it is always the right decision.
Hmm.
So don't be afraid to take decisions.
Hmm.
And once you take a decision, implement it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So communication skills and decision making are majorly,
Hmm.
and of course social skills are today are highly required,
Hmm.
and networking skills are required.
Hmm.
So
So
now
if
this Gen Z, which is, I mean, everybody speaks of Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z.
correct,
Millennials are over now.
over,
The Gen Z is the one which is the talk of the
correct,
town sort of a thing.
correct.
What are the challenges you've experienced in your coaching business or in your as patients when they come to you? What are the
Correct.
major challenges that Gen Z faces?
So there are a couple of things which have stood out very clearly. Okay, one aspect is that they socialize very little.
Mhm.
Okay, the friend circle that we used to have when we grew up, if you stayed in a particular lane, you had friends in every building
True.
at that point of time.
Absolutely. You're never
To-
at your own home.
You are never
You're
at
always
your
with
home.
somebody
You
else's,
are
roaming
somewhere or
around
the
the
other
place.
found in somebody else's house doing something or the other. What is happening today is because of the internet, because of the
Mobile.
mobile phone and dot. What is happening is people are getting restricted,
Yeah.
and communication is not happening even within the family and even within outsiders.
Who's been your youngest patient?
So I have had a 10-year-old kid for anger management.
10-year-old kid for anger management.
Okay. So he's broken two 40 inches televisions at home. He had thrown his BMX bike from the 8th floor downstairs, which fell onto a car. His father had to replace the car and give it to
My-
the person
Oh my God.
that is there.
Oh
So
God.
a lot of
And the cause of this was
what
emotional
suppressed
suppression
emotions.
at home.
Suppressed
Mainly at
emotions.
home.
Yeah,
Mm.
mainly at home.
Mm.
Mainly
And
at home.
maybe the mobile phone was the biggest.
Yes, again, the way they communicate, the way they talk, the language is very different.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a whole printout,
New lingo.
a new lingo when I have to deal with these people.
Hmm.
So they come with words like dilulu and all that, and I'm like, okay, I go with delusional, but you go with dilulu.
Hmm.
Then slap is something which is
Hmm.
so their lingo is very different.
Hmm.
Again, going back to who are their role models today.
Hmm.
Okay, their role models are influencers.
Yeah.
Their role models are people who are teaching them what to say, what to do, what kind of clothes to wear, what kind of makeup to use. I mean, a lot of Gen Z kids are basically into skincare more than what you and I did at one point of time. That is there. But one good thing that I see about them is they're focused.
Hmm.
Another good thing that I see about them is they're extremely conscious about their health.
Hmm.
Okay. You and I were not so conscious about our health
True.
at that age or at that time.
Hmm.
So they're very conscious about what they're putting into their system over there. They're more into gymming, they're more into taking care of their body, and they're highly focused.
Hmm.
Okay. That is
from a
one very
psychologist
good thing.
perspective. Now we're just talking about Gen Z, but now there's Gen Alpha, there is
Yes.
Gen Beta,
Yeah.
which is just
Slowly coming into the system.
the way we are now in the artificial intelligence, mobile. They're born with a mobile in their
Correct,
hands.
correct,
How do you think going forward in next 5-10 years, this generation, what will their challenges be?
So one challenge which they will have to learn to adopt is being flexible.
Mm.
Okay, flexibility, as I normally say when people ask me, Dr. Saab, what is the key to success? So I just tell them one word: be flexible. Be flexible in your thoughts. Be flexible in your actions.
Okay.
Okay. Now that flexibility needs to come into that generation. Okay. They don't need to go around with a fixed mindset.
Hmm.
Okay. They need to develop what is called as the growth mindset.
But they will be. I'm saying the mobile is programming them.
Correct. Correct.
So how will
So what
they?
content?
It'll be a big challenge for them. I
Correct.
suppose.
So what content they are consuming is very, very, very important.
Mm.
Okay. And like now countries are becoming aware of the kind of damage
So they're
that is
banning
happening.
below 16.
They are, yes, Australia has already done that. They've banned below
Social
16
media
social
usage,
Is
media.
there anything like that coming
Yeah.
in India? I mean, are they
I
thinking about
don't
it?
think so. In the near future, it will come. But yes, there is going to be a lot of self-regulation on the social media platforms that are there.
Okay.
So what the Indian government is currently promoting is so regulate yourself.
Right.
Okay. YouTube needs to regulate themselves.
Okay.
Plus, from time to time, they give reports like so many sites were brought down, so
Right.
many things were because of content and whatever it is. It could be anti-national, it could be bad for their growth. So the self-regulation part of it is more promoted rather than putting a blanket ban on them.
I think Australia has banned
Australia has banned. It's the first country in the world to do that. A few European countries are now looking at how they can implement that model.
Okay.
But the model which India has traditionally used is self-regulation in terms of that. But again, looking at it from a purely leadership perspective, these individuals will become individual leaders of their own organizations. Okay, I see that movement coming a lot. People will be getting more and more into startups. They'll be
Right.
experimenting with different fields, different ideas before they actually settle down on something that they really want to do.
Yes.
So they may try out 7-8 businesses before they actually get into it, and the learnings, the experiences, the ups and downs that they've experienced in these 7-8 businesses is what finally they will use in growing their ultimate business or what they would
Whatever
do
they
for
do
a
with their
long
life
term
in their-
period of it. So leadership is evolving. It is something which has to evolve with the culture. It is something which is evolving with the times. And it is high time that the current leaders also understand that they need to move forward. Like we always say, you have to be a lifelong learner, learn new tricks, learn new tools, learn new things that are happening. And in fact, if you could be the first implementer, that would be great from your
Will
part.
AI impact the psychology of a person?
It is definitely impacting right now. It is definitely impacting right now.
Experiences that you had with
there are
your-
very dark
with your
sides.
patients
But
or-
there are dark sides also to AI. Though we are currently in India, we are not using AI to an extent beyond asking question and answers. Okay.
Or any example you have in your
So-
in your practice that you experience?
So we have a
these-
group of psychologists that are there. We meet, we interact with it. Unfortunately, we have come into our notice that there has been a kid who has committed suicide because the AI kept telling him that you are unworthy, you are not good, you are
Yes,
this,
I,
you are that.
yeah.
And then ultimately it coaxed him to a school-going kid.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
it came in the papers
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, a school-going kid was then, he unfortunately self-terminated himself in the process. So AI is good. AI is making life easier. it is making life better. It
The
is
dark
making
side also.
there is a dark side also. Okay.
And only
So
time will tell us.
only time will absolutely tell us. Since we are talking about this topic, a new trend has been seen among senior citizens,
Okay.
where senior citizens are using AI as companions now.
Okay.
Okay, which is again a dangerous trend.
Absolutely.
Okay, which is again a dangerous trend. You are now treating it as another
As
person,
yes.
and you are daily communicating with him, with the AI on a daily basis, where you are talking to him as if he's a living person. So loneliness is a mental health challenge,
Yes.
but now that is getting complicated because of people chatting with
As
AI
if
rather
it's a
than
normal person.
rather than chatting with their loved ones around
Yeah.
them. So that's again a very dangerous trend that we are seeing as far as mental health in senior citizens is concerned.
I think this has been a very thought provoking and inspiring
Thank you so
discussion.
much.
All of our viewers have also enjoyed it, I'm sure. First of all, thank you, Dr.
Pleasure.
Ashish,
Pleasure
for
is all
being here
mine.
on Commander's Compass. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you to all our viewers who are encouraging us to do more and more episodes. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any questions for Dr. Ashish here, please put them in the comments below. We'll make sure that we get answers as well. And like, share, subscribe to the channel. Here's to many more episodes.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.